Yes, thank you.
Right. Okay. So my name is Philip Wicks and I'm chair for this meeting. So may I welcome you all to the August 2020 meeting of the Planning and Communities Committee of Woodley Town Council. The Town Council is consulted by Wokingham Borough Council on planning applications within Woodley, but the final decision of approved or refused is taken by Wokingham Borough Council. We will notify Wokingham Borough Council of the committee views, which may include any comments and concerns expressed by members of the community affected by the application. If anyone has any comments to make on any of the planning applications, then they need to formally write or send an email to Wokingham Borough Council Planning Department, as they will take the final decision on the application. This meeting of the committee is taking place under the video conferencing platform Zoom. As a reminder for all committee members, please use gallery view, or it may not be possible to note when you need to speak. The meeting shall be held in accordance with the Woodley Town Council virtual meetings protocol. For members of the public attending and wishing to comment, your microphones will be off and will be controlled by the chair. If you wish to discuss a particular planning application or other matter, raise your electronic hand to ensure you can be seen, and the chair will turn on your microphone and enable you to speak at a suitable time. Now, this is to prevent too many attendees talking at once and to allow us to manage the meeting more effectively. Now, thank you for your cooperation. So if we move to the agenda, item 1 then is apologies, please, Linda.
We've had apologies from councillors Cheng, Forer, McNaught and Ramuni.
Okay, and do we have any declarations of interest? I can see Richard's hand up, but I can't hear him.
Sorry, yeah. Yes, I share a boundary with 44 Malone, which is one of the applications, so I'll turn off my video and microphone at the time.
That's 201807.
Yeah, I think this is right. Just checking for the air. Yeah,
Yes,
201807. Yeah.
Okay. Any more? It's just the one. Thank you. So item is the minutes of the Planning and Community Committee meeting held on the 14th of July. And I need some approval for those minutes, please. Richard's approved them. Anybody going to second it? Carol, thank you. Okay, I'll sign those as a true record as and when the opportunity arises that I can get to the council offices. I have to bring a pen with lots of ink in. I think I've got quite a few of these to sign. Item 4 is current planning applications. I don't know which of these, if any, anybody wants to discuss. The first item is 201525, which is Ashley View, Beggars Hill Road, but this is an adjoining parish consultation. So I don't know if you want to make any comment on that. No?
No.
Item 2 is 201567, which is 3 Copse Mead. That is quite a large extension. It's a 2 parts, 2-storey front extension and 3 dormers, but that particular road is quite a lot of very large houses, all of which are relatively different from each other. So though it's a large extension, I don't know if it's going to cause anybody any issues. Does anybody want to talk about it? Yes, Carol.
Thank you. It was the amount that it's increasing from the original, from 666 cubic metres to 989. That is large, but as you say, the plot is big enough. There's a height increase, and I wondered if there'd been any neighbours' comments.
We haven't had, there've been no comments to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, and the other thing is, which is not planning, but it's the same design that they keep building in areas around there. There's one road that's got the same design house all the way along. So some architects making some money on that one, but that was all.
Okay, all right, so we can say okay to that one. Item 3 is 16 Mitchell Way, which is 201594. This is part retrospective, but I noticed on the later on we'll actually mention that as one of the enforcement issues as well. My only concern on this was really the close boarded fence close to a junction. Has anybody got any comments to raise on that? I should just say it's okay. All right, so accept that one. Item 4 is 201605, which is 10 Radcott Close. And again, this is a large extension, part first floor, part 2-story side, but it's on a corner plot, and it's built over a garage, but the garage is a lot smaller in depth, which we keep seeing, don't we, Carol? I think we've seen 2 or 3 of those recently.
I think cars are getting smaller. It's the only answer.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It must be for bicycles because they're trying to do away with cars, aren't they? That's probably what it is.
I think people can't afford 2 cars anymore.
We don't need 2 cars anymore because there's no one on the road. Right, sorry. Okay. Item 5 is 201648, which is 37 Carrick Gardens. My only concern on this was the drawing appears to show a potential for 4 cars parking at the front. And I think that would be a struggle. Carol?
I couldn't see how many bedrooms it was going to turn into, which was obviously has some bearing on the number of car parking spaces. But I agree with you. I don't think you'd get those 4 in there. But I must be missing something. But if anybody else could see how many bedrooms, that would be useful.
I don't recall. I can pull up the drawings if you want me to. But,
No, I think if the parking is an issue anyway, and obviously they're talking about 4, so the number of bedrooms must warrant 4.
that's warrant
So
for
I
you.
think I'd support your comment about the parking.
Okay, so we'll just say that we've got no issues apart from concerns about the parking. So just concerns. We're happy with that? Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 6 is 201749, which is 39 Lunds Farm Road, which is a single-story front extension to form a porch following removal of the existing porch. And that, to my mind, just produces a larger hallway, and the front extension now covers the full width of the building instead of just part of it.
No, I thought it looked really nice.
Yeah, I can't see the value for money though in doing it.
No, I can't.
Maybe they want to live there for a while.
Are we happy with that one? Okay. Item 7, 201771, which is 4 Harrier Close, single story front extension and rear extension, garage conversion, and the new chimney stack. My concern on this one was only that the removal of the garage may cause additional parking at the end of a cul-de-sac.
But remember, anyone can convert a garage into a habitable room currently under PDR, permitted development rights, as long as you don't change internal walls. So, like the garage thing to me is not as strong an issue because they could do it anyway.
I made a comment here, they probably don't use the garage anyway, so. No, okay, we're happy with that one, all right. Item 8 then is 201781, which is 11 Caldbeck Drive. This is a first floor side and rear extension and a single story rear extension. And this is another room over the garage and filling in the rear, which I think is a fairly typical extension for Caldbeck Drive. At least it was when I used to live there. Any issues on that one? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the only thing I think is if they got the hip roof and the other side's got a sort of the apex, but to be honest, I think the hip roof looks nicer anyway.
Okay. Item 9, 201782, 13 Enstone Road. Householder application for a rear extension, including the insertion of some roof lights following the demolition of the conservatory. So they're moving the conservatory and they're putting a full width dining room to replace it. I don't think that went out any deeper than the existing conservatory does. No issues on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. 201799, Cedar Rise, Glendevon Road. Single story side and rear extension and first floor front extension to the existing dwelling. This is a corner plot from Glendevon to Church Road. It's the opposite side of the road from where I suppose the shops would be, just so you can get a view as to where it is. I didn't have it's quite large, but I didn't have an issue because they seem to have got the space. No, we're happy with that one. Okay. I'm going to drop the next one for a minute, Richard, and come back to it in a second. 201853 is item 12, which is 41 Houth Drive, which is a single story rear extension following the demolition of the existing rear extension. And the extension seems to be to the same dimensions as the previous covered area. So I'm assuming they had some sort of, I'm not sure, tent arrangement, large porch at the back. Wasn't clear what they actually had, was it?
Could have been flat roof.
It could have been just a flat roof on a seating area or something. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. It wasn't very clear what was there before, but this seems to be the same footprint as the previous one. So, are we happy with that? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And item 13 is 201885, which is 45 Millbank Crescent. This is quite a large extension on a corner. Carol and I both looked at this. Carol, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just to say, I used to live in Millbank Crescent, so I know the area. I also know how difficult it is with the houses on the curve in terms of garden shapes and who shares what, and a lot of them have shared drives. So I looked at it fairly carefully. The next door neighbours kind of got a kink in their boundary, so it seems as like this extension is right up to the boundary. Then the boundary goes in, and I just really was concerned for the impact on the neighbour. But if we haven't heard anything, I also question what the move bit was on the block plan, but I don't think Philip or I could come up with any answer on that. So
No,
it's a pretty colour.
I couldn't work out what the move was either. But I did notice that the existing detached garage is also on the building line, and they seem to be replacing that with another building on the building line. But I'm assuming that the building regs would come along just to make sure they build it inside a little bit, just so they've got access to the guttering and downpipes, etc., etc. So have we got any issues on that, or are we happy to let that go?
Yeah, I've got no issues.
Okay. So the last one, I'll go back because this is the one I think that Richard has got a vested, well, not a vested interest, but is his neighbour, which is item 11, which is 201807, which is 44 Malone Road. This, I think, is quite a large increase. The rear increase is in excess of 5 metres, and it's putting 2 more bedrooms into the building. And I'm just wondering what people have to say about that, Carol.
Yeah, I was concerned about the massing, and
Yes.
knowing that Richard was involved, I put, I assume the neighbour is okay. Well, I don't know if he or she or which side Richard is on, but as you say, it's a big extension. I think it's a bit of careful looking at.
I think it's a large extension as well. Has everybody looked at it, or? Yes. Has
Yeah.
anybody else got any comments, or does everybody agree that we think it's a bit large for what it is?
I would agree with the comments already made, quite honestly.
What it's massing.
Mm.
Mm. Okay, so yes, Carol.
Could I suggest then that we express our concern over the massing effect on the neighbouring property of that application?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Do you want to accept it, or do you think that we should reject it?
I'm not sure what the reasons are for rejection, which is why I was carefully saying that we were concerned.
Okay, is everybody? Sorry, go on. Sorry, Carol, I interrupted.
No, I say I can see Keith smiling at that. I'm avoiding avoiding the issue.
I'm smiling, Carol, because having sat in these planning committees, both on the borough and here, the number of times I've felt exactly the way you feel, you know, on this is huge. And you try to find that weasel way of saying, no, we refuse it. And you can't, there's nothing there to hang your hook on. Yes, it's a big extension. It's quite high. Massing would be the only hook I could see. So that's the only reason why I was smiling.
Yeah.
And overbearing, I think, both of those, if we want to have two bites of the cherry.
Okay. So are we inclined to reject it then?
I would like that to happen, yes.
What do you think, David?
Have we got reasons to reject it?
Well, Masson,
Yes, Masson, but I mean, overall, the plans are okay. It's just that Masson effect.
yes.
And I don't honestly think that is sufficient grounds to reject it.
No, it probably isn't. But I suppose, at least if we draw the borough's attention to our concerns about that, it may make them look twice.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
that I would agree with.
Okay.
So sorry.
So
I'll just
Carol,
say that we've got concerns about it then.
concerns about the massing and the overbearing effect of the large extension. Carol?
I think we should do that just so if there is a neighbour's objection or comment that they have some sort of support for that. So I'm feel very happy that suggest a recommend rejection.
Okay. Anybody want to say anything else about that one? No? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all of the current planning applications.
Philip, before we go off this, I might be talking a little bit out of turn, but have we had notification from the Borough Council at all about the planned development at Sonning Golf Club in Duffield Road?
I haven't seen anything.
All right, it falls under Sonning.
Just about to say it might fall under something.
Yeah, but we should still get notification as an adjoining parish.
We should do.
I think that application came through a long time ago, and that so I'd have to cross check. So
Yeah,
I think they had the outline planning permission. I think it actually even went to appeal, but don't quote me. I think what they're now doing is the reserve matters, but
yeah,
I'd have to check on it.
I must admit, I thought it was, sort of made, remembering from the site that I looked at this morning, I think it was around May time that this current situation was put in, but I don't recall it coming up at our meeting, because certainly I would be against a housing development in Duffield Road.
Yes, I've got no recollection of it.
We've not received any notification of that application. I don't know.
Could we bring that to the borough's notice that we would have expected notification for our comments?
I can try. I don't think it will.
Do we definitely know that an application is in? Or
Well,
is
it
it
was
just
in
you think
it
it's
was in the press a couple of days ago. I can't think what paper, but it was in the press a couple of days ago. I know Michael Firminger is trying to put together a plan for objection, but I would have thought that one particular should have come to this planning committee for our thoughts.
Well, can I
Although it's
also,
in a different parish.
I
Can I
think
also-
we have been notified of applications there previously. I'm talking several years ago. This is just from memory, but we haven't had anything recently. Now, I don't know what this application is that you're talking about. So.
I can also tell you, as the borough councillor for the adjoining ward, Coronation Ward,
Yep.
I've had no notification, and you do if you're in the adjoining ward as a borough councillor, you automatically get notification.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually have a look after this, well, not after this meeting, tomorrow, to do some digging
Right.
around.
Well,
Oh,
I've got the Wokingham on site at the moment.
On there.
Let me just see when this application
It is on there. It's dated April, but it's not been approved yet.
is dated April, is it?
Yeah,
Not,
The
not-
13
not-
houses on Duffield Road at Sonning
Yeah.
Golf Club. I suppose it might be a preliminary or something, mightn't it? But
Yeah, but I do. I really do think it's something that should come to this committee so that we have the opportunity at least to look at it and put in any comments that we need to.
Is it actually on the golf course, or is it where the old keeper's cottage was? on
No,
the
it's
bend.
not. No, it's not
Not
there.
that one.
It's taking, from what I understand, is the access to it will be just up from the existing bend of Duffield Road. So more or less opposite Mustard Lane.
All the way up there. They did. I can actually say that the what Linda was talking about many years ago, they did
Yeah.
actually put in an application precisely for that, and that in advance they cleared some of the trees, etc., for where you're talking about for the access. And there was a big brouhaha because one of them at least had a TPO, and they still hadn't got planning permission for
Yeah.
it. So
Uh,
you just confirmed it's that
yeah.
one there.
Yeah, but at the moment, it just looks to me that this is being pressurized through. And we're being ridden roughshod.
Well, that one's going to go to the committee, the planning committee, because it's more than 5
Well-
houses.
Yeah, I know, but that planning committee, I think, may actually be going on tonight. From the press comment that I remember reading.
Shouldn't read
Certainly-
don't believe everything you read in the press.
No, but it's certainly due to go up very, very shortly.
It's not. It could be going. Could it be going to Sonning Planning Committee tonight and not to the borough?
they've written a 2-page essay objecting to it on. I've just had a quick skim. It's very detailed. They've had their inspectors and surveyors out, so I think Sonning have pretty done a fine job. But
Yeah.
you're right. We should have had, as an adjoining parish, we should have had an opportunity to at least support our colleagues. At
Our
Sonning
colleagues, that's
Parish
right.
at council. But-
Richard, can you give me the application number, please, if you've got it there?
Oh yeah, sure thing. Hold on a jiffy. It is 200951.
Okay, thank you.
Public consultation ended on 22nd of May, though. So
Okay, we weren't notified of that, so I will find someone to vent our annoyance.
but they have my sympathy to a point.
Okay.
But sorry about that. But,
No.
I
You're
think
right
it's
to
relevant.
you're right to raise it. Right to raise it. Right. Shall we move on then to planning decisions? If you look at page 17, Appendix 5, it would appear that we've got them all right apart from 2. 96 Kingfisher, we were concerned about. Sorry, Carol. Am I jumping the gun?
No, you sum up first. I'll answer the gaps.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 96 Kingfisher. I think the previous application was rejected because they're extending to the front. So we objected because they're extending to the front again, but it appears that they've been accepted this time. And the second one was the solicitor's office, I've noticed, who built in the back garden and decided then to ask for to change of use to an office has been rejected, which I think is quite interesting. Carol.
Do we know why that was refused? The solicitor's office is the
I
first.
haven't had a chance to look to see why it was refused. It's been a struggle to get onto the website today.
And the other one was the Kingfisher Drive. Obviously not happy at all about that because I think we all shared my concerns about crossing over the cycle path. And kind of the damage has been done. Doesn't surprise me that Highways didn't see an issue with that. But I now think we should be pressing the Borough Council to make sure that there's some sort of signage or warning that cars may be crossing that cycle path. It doesn't happen anywhere else along Kingfisher Drive, apart from on the corner of, Fairwater Drive, apart from the corner of Kingfisher and Fairwater, where a van has to use a very small part of the cycle path, sort of half the width of. This is just asking for trouble because they park on there forwards when they do park on there, reversing out onto a cycle path that's used by school children, etc., is an accident waiting to happen. And I don't know why I'm amazed that Highways thinks it's okay, but I still am. So.
Do we want to make a comment about that? Yes, Carol?
I think somebody should raise it.
Yes, well, yes.
If everybody's in agreement, I think that would be coming better from the town council as a planning committee, just to emphasise why we weren't happy with it in the first place. And now that the damage is done, as to what they're going to do to ameliorate the issues it's going to cause.
Are we happy to put some comments through to that effect?
I'm just wondering who we could comment to. I mean, I can ask for a comment to be passed to the planning officer, but I mean, that's probably too late for that, isn't it?
Possibly, but we need to do something rather than nothing. Carol?
I think now it's a safety issue, so I think planning is gone. That's done and dusted. It ought to be going to somebody in highways that deals with safety, the cycleway, etc., etc. I don't know the names of the officers that might deal with that, but we could at least highlight those issues.
Okay, so can we do that, Linda? Can we write to Highways and point out that we noticed that this
I'll have to
application
find out who I can. Yeah, I will do. I'm not sure who to contact, but I'll see what I can find out, and I will pass our comments on.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments anybody wants to raise on that? No? Shall we move on? Item 6 is the neighbour consultation scheme. Just really to note that there's been 2 applications there, and it just requires consultation with the adjoining neighbours, which is 201-647 36 Carrick Gardens, which actually appears in one of the applications that we've just looked at, and 201-917, which is Sandford Croft and Sandford Lane, and that's to do with raising the height. So that's down to the neighbours. Item 7 is telecommunications notifications. So we just need to be aware of 201-834, which is the land north of the 329M slip road. Prior application for the erection of another 17-metre high mast with 6 antenna. And also the land at Mohawk Way. I think we've seen that one, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we did see the one at Mohawk Way. Prior application for the erection of another 17-metre high telecoms mast with 6 antenna and 3 equipment cabinets. So item 8, tree preservation orders. Just really to note that there's 1 to 7 Mollison Close, selectively prune an oak tree to fell 2 dead hawthorns and replace an apple tree, and in 3 Highcliffe Close to selectively prune 1 false acacia, and some new TPOs relating to the trees in Weeble Drive. And comment that Wokingham have reviewed some of the areas that originally woodland, now being developed for housing. The trees now grow in gardens. So TPO has been created for clarity and includes the trees of note that require protection in order to preserve the amenity of the area. Carol's got a hand up.
Yeah, thank you. It was the one about the Mollison Close. I think it's a bit sad that they're not replacing the hawthorns. They're much better tree in terms of bird life and etc. etc. Do we get any details as to why they choose to do this, or is it because the resident wanted to have an apple tree and not two dead hawthorns or another hawthorn tree?
I don't know, because apparently it just says it doesn't require consultation. So I'm assuming there's been some discussions at
Carol?
the borough council level.
We're not given the details, but if you wanted to look, so the application number's there, if you wanted to look it up on the website, you would find the details there, but we're not given them.
Keith?
Yeah, I'd forgotten that the Weevil Drive one was coming up. I need to declare a non-prejudicial interest because the trees they're talking about back onto my property and all the properties along Reading Road, but it's a non-prejudicial, and we don't discuss it anyway.
No.
It's a great thing. It can stop infills, stop people like me selling half my garden, which I wouldn't do
Okay.
anyway.
Okay, yeah, because the tree preservation orders are just really for us to note. Because the last one is trees located on the land at South Lake Estate and Bullmarsh Court, East Woodley. And that varied the TPO there as a result of a review. And trees of the amenity that are extended there have been included and confirmed elsewhere. So they remain in place. They've just adjusted the TPO. Okay. Cycling in Woodley Working Party. Carol, anything to say?
We haven't met since the last meeting, so there's no update. Just to inform members that there was a question asked at the Borough Council Executive a couple of weeks ago, and that was about the access across the land behind the Loddon Park estate. There's a bridge there that Taylor Wimpey had put some money towards so that you can walk from the back of the Loddon Park estate through and get through to Twyford, Dinton Pastures and that area there. At the moment, you can walk all that way, then you're met by two bridges that have been closed off as unsafe, although they look fairly rigid to me, but they would only have walking and cycling traffic. It now turns out that the Borough Council have got to find some more money to add to that to build the bridges. So it was just for information really, but I would like us to ask for that to happen sooner than later, rather than it being on a wish list somewhere, because there must be some SIL money, etc., that can be used. I don't know, but it's. I went that way the other day and found I couldn't get across either bridge. I hadn't realised they were closed, and he ended up wading through the ford. So I have a vested interest in getting a bridge to keep my feet dry.
Okay. Okay, is that something we should be asking for through this committee? Keith, have you got any comments to raise on that? You've got your microphone off, Keith.
Yeah, all I can say is I do know that the Loddon Borough Councillors are on the case to try and twist the arm of the Borough Council to do it. I think hopefully they will be successful because it's an obvious enhancement without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay, all right, so that's in hand by Loddon. Item 10, the removal of payphones. And this
Sorry,
is appendix.
can I say, do you want me to do anything about that then? The previous one about the bridges, or is that just being covered by the borough councillors?
Carol?
I think we should give every support we can, and it's another voice to add to let's get the bridge, while there are people out there cycling, walking, etc., and we're trying to encourage that for all sorts of reasons. I think we should add our voice to that of the local councillors.
Okay.
Have you any idea who we need to contact, Carol, about that?
Not offhand. I'm trying to think. I'll see if I can find out, Linda, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay, I can do that then. Thank you.
Okay, so we're on to item 10, which is the removal of payphones or consultation for the removal of payphones, which is Appendix 10, item 19. There's certainly one there that doesn't appear to have been used in the last 12 months. There's three, I think, which applies to us, which is Herne Road and Drovers Way, Crockenwell Road, and Welford Road and Headley Road. Herne Road and Drovers Way hasn't been used. Welford Road, Headley Road been used 5 times, but Crockenwell Road has been used 46 times. Carol.
I would suggest that we ask that the Crockenwell Road one remains.
Mm.
I think the other ones are so little used, but Crockenwell Road is very central.
It is.
I think if they're going to keep any, then that should be the one.
I'd go along with that.
Yeah.
Yes, anybody got any objection to that? Okay, so Linda, we need to ask BT to, I think the option is to stay as it is.
Okay, so that's
That's the Crockenwell Road Woodley one. And I think the Herne Road and Drivers Way can be fully removed. Happy with that? I don't think there are any local groups who are likely to be adopt one of the others because they're so infrequently used that it's probably not worth anybody's effort.
I did publicise this proposal on all 4 Woodley Facebook groups, and very, very few, can't even remember anybody saying retain them. I had quite a few people saying keep them and put a defibrillator in there, keep them, put a library in there, sell flowers from there, you know, which other areas have done. But I think the general consensus was, you know, we use mobiles these days. Don't need them.
That's right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You happy with that, Linda?
yes, thank you.
Good. Item 11 is the Reading Borough Council transport strategy. We have to respond by the end of August, which I think Keith was organising.
Yeah, I did. It's very difficult to split it all up. It's a horrendous document, full of council speak. Reading between the lines, it's written to get a certain answer. But I did pull out some recommended areas that people could take on. My response, I was deafened to 0. Oh, sorry, Richard. I did. So with such a big document, without actually spreading that around, I think it's impractical for 1 or even 2 people to do it. Carol's done a brilliant job on the cycling. Don't know how she does that and hold down a full-time job, but she's obviously a super person rather than me.
I did have a little look at a couple of the bits of it. I think it was, I would want to say, I've written a 1-page wonder. I should have circulated it before this really, but I had a quick look at highway network management and parking and multimodal. I think multimodal is actually largely covered by kind of what Carol's been talking about on cycling. And I think my thoughts around that, I mean, the thrust of it was essentially tidy up the pavements and pinch some roads to make cycle paths and try and make pedestrian access in the town centre a bit easier. There wasn't a huge amount Woodley based. The only thing I did sort of consider was, and having taken up a bit more cycling during the lockdown, although my weight wouldn't dictate that's happened, were the kind of join ups between the kind of Reading, Wokingham boundaries aren't particularly great. And there's a lot of speak in it about partnership working with local councils and things like that. And I wonder whether or not the comment there really should be actually the best way to encourage cycling and walking into town is to talk to your neighbour councils and agree those join up points. I mean, there was also a bit about creating pedestrian and cycle access to the IDR, which sounds like a recipe for death. But in the same sentence as talking about pinch points for traffic and then taking parts of them to create cycle paths, I just kind of thought this is a bit lip service. The thing that really grabbed me though, I did look at again, it's trying to come up with something to actually write sensibly from the council, and I'll circulate this to the committee, and you can chuck your thoughts at it. I'm happy to craft a comment or two. But in the network management and parking, there's a lot about electric vehicles, which you'd expect. But there's a lot about using intelligent traffic light systems to control traffic in the town centre and reduce congestion at congestion points. And as I kind of read through it, the sort of alarm bell that started ringing was, is the plan here to push congestion out of the town centre and therefore push it into Woodley? And I kind of went, oh, hang on, that's actually got some ramifications. And I suggest, I don't know, I'll try and construct that a bit more thoughtfully. But every time I revisited it, the drive was use clever traffic lights and monitoring to keep traffic out of the town. And if a huge part of that traffic comes down the A4 or via the A329, you kind of, we're kind of stuck in the middle of that. And does that park all the traffic in our town, which I thought, well, hang on. And there was also a bit that annoyed me about having wonderful public transport, which I just don't believe is true. My one experience with the bus, I couldn't believe how much it cost, how unreliable it was, and how dirty it was. So, that warned me off Reading buses for a little while. But yeah, I'll circulate what I jotted down as thoughts to the group. But it was that point about, are they looking to push a problem into Woodley, Tilehurst, Cavish? Do you know what I mean? Like almost preserve the air quality that they're talking about in Reading town centres, the detriment of everyone around them. Whether or not actually that is the solution, I don't know. But I wasn't keen.
The reality, Richard, is they've had intelligent traffic light systems for 10 years, and it's was monitored in their old building, next to the Hexagon. I've been there and I've seen it, and so the intelligent transport systems just uses pads basically, so that they know what queuing is on each arm of either a roundabout or where the traffic light, and then it can switch the priority. So the old traffic light systems used to be, it's red and it's going to be red for 3 minutes, even though there's nothing on any other traffic. So they've had it. This is why I'm saying, it's lip service. I think you used a good phrase there. It's a lot of lip service.
Yeah.
So they've got that. And they can change those priorities, which they already do with the bus lanes anyway, But thank you for doing that.
Is this got anything to do with the fact? Sorry, Richard.
Oh, no, after you, I'll circulate my one-page wonder. It is not suitable for submission to anyone. It's a page of rambling thoughts, but you can enjoy it or ignore it to your heart's content.
So all I was going to say was I've noticed that there's a proposal, isn't there, to extend the parking at the park and ride at up by Loddon, to put another floor on it, I believe.
Yeah, Winners Triangle.
Winners Triangle. But I'm assuming that's Wokingham, is it?
That's Wokingham. Well, it is Wokingham, but it's a joint venture with Reading.
It's Reading. So that
historically, for instance, the one in Showcase was a joint venture. The one at Mere Oak is a joint venture.
Okay. And
it was a way working, because I was involved in all that. It was the way Wokingham Borough got Reading Borough to cough up some money, because they're getting the economic benefit of shipping people from Woodley and around and Chinfield into Reading. So
okay, this is linking up to what some of the things that Richard's just said about them trying to push traffic out. So, and if they're trying to push traffic out, it just means increased parking by the station, and I guess that's part of the problem, providing that the rest of the feeder roads can actually cope with it. At the moment they can, because there's hardly any traffic on the road, but as in a few months' time that all might change, of course. Then again, it might not. Okay, so Richard, you're going to produce some documents.
I will ping that across to everyone in the group now, and then if anyone's got anything they're particularly passionate about tweaking, otherwise I'll simplify that and just kind of try and draw out a few strands to create just one or two concerns that I think is important just to register. I mean, there's nothing offensive in there, and there's nothing, I think there's some good ideas. It's just kind of, again, as with all these kind of plans, it's suitably vague to allow you to say we've succeeded when any number of outcomes can occur. it's I understand the value of it. If I was in their position, it's what I'd probably be pushing to do, but at the same time it's dissatisfying, you know, as a resident. So but yeah, I'll ping that around now, and then if anyone's got any pressing objections, send them across. But otherwise if everyone's happy, I'll just construct a couple of lines and either submit it or ask Linda to do it. But yeah.
So do we need any of Carol's input on that with regards to the cycles? Because she's looked at some areas, hasn't she?
That's already been agreed.
Oh, you've got that right. Oh, that's fine. Okay.
That was agreed at the last meeting. It's
That's okay.
for the main transport strategy that we've got to agree a response. So
Okay.
if we can't agree it in this meeting, we have to respond by the 30th of August. So if Richard sends his comments around, we'll have to get agreement on that, or on whatever submission is going to be made prior to the next meeting. So it'll have to be done by email, and then I'll just reference it in the next agenda so that we know what's been
Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, super. Thank you. Item 12 on the agenda is the Borough Council, Reading Borough Council House Extensions Design Guide consultation. And that's just really to note. So if you want to have a look at that, you can just hit the link. I've got a feeling one of those links isn't quite right. So if it comes up and says not available, I think it's got a 13 or a 12 on the end. So just delete 13 or a 12 when it goes onto the link, and then you'll be able to see the documents. Okay. Item 13, publications. The Connecting Communities in Berkshire publication and the Me Too Club newsletter have been circulated. Item 14, any future agenda items? No? Okay, item 15, suggestions for the website. Is there anything that we need to put up there for the moment? Asking for feedback from the residents.
The only thing I did ponder, challenging times for people out there, and we talk about the Citizens Advice Bureau and the work that they do quite a bit. I wondered whether it was worth asking for a little push on that. There's going to be some people struggling. I appreciate that Citizens Advice might not be overly enamoured by a huge, as our marketing machine is going to generate a huge amount of inquiries. But that was the only thing I thought, supporting people that have been put out of work, struggling with landlords, important times. But that was the only thing that I thought of for that.
That's more citizens' advice, isn't it?
Yeah. If I can come in there, Philip.
Yes, David.
All right. To answer your question, Richard, Citizens Advice has been working on that for a little while. This year, 33,192 cases have been dealt with since beginning of January. That's as against 2,400 for the whole amount of last year. So it gives you an indication of how busy they have been in getting things organised. I can't go into too much depth, but there are items in course at the moment to actually give an easier facility for people to contact me. I have proposed myself an idea of going around companies and offering our services to the personnel departments, insofar as they'll have a lot of people going back to work with mortgage problems where they've been on 3 months sabbatical, credit cards, less, only 80% of wages. A lot of people are going to be going back to work with a lot of difficulty. So if we as Citizens Advice can help in any way, we will do. But there are other problems involved, which means, we can't, it can't be said categorically at the moment that will happen. But it is being looked at.
I think it did good work. So yeah, that was why I thought. I wonder if it's worth publicising it, but I suspect everyone that I don't know.
But it is being looked at.
So can I just clarify then? So nothing to publicise at the moment, but maybe in the
Correct.
future.
That's correct. Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. Yeah. And item 16, pages 20 and 21 are to do with enforcement issues. Item 20, there are 3 notifications. Sandford Farm at Mohawk Way, the bin stores are not in accordance with the approved plans. 16 Mitchell Way, a breach of condition relating to the driveway. And 64 Headley Road, it says built not in accordance with approved plans. And then the foreclosures, 2 Cody Road, encroachment onto amenity land, it says no breach. I'm not sure we'd be too happy with that, would we? 16 Mitchell Way. So we have a notification that looks like it might be a closure as well. Breach of condition related to shed extension and alignment of fence application submitted. So that presumably is part and parcel of the application that we've looked at today. Because that made comment about fencing, didn't it, and visibility. 46 Woodlands Avenue, development not in accordance with planned permission, no breach. And 202 Hurricane Way, dwelling built in back garden with no planning permission, no breach. Any comments? No? Right, so can I declare the meeting over? Yes, Keith.
Right. I can clear up Sonning Golf Club for you guys. It's what I thought it was. So here's the history. 3rd of June, 2016, the application came in first time. That's what Linda and I were talking about. We remember it. It was determined on the 11th of November, 2016, and it was a refusal. It went to appeal, and the appeal confirmed the refusal, and that dated 14th of July, 2017. The applicant went to the High Court, and the appeal refusal was overturned, and the appeal inspector had to do a new appeal. Whether it's the same one, I don't know. That happened on the 2nd of July, 2018, and the appeal was allowed. So therefore, at that stage, they had outline planning permission. So what's going through now is what I thought it probably was. It's reserved matters, which is not sort of where is the houses going to be or where is the access point, because that's all part of the outline. It's what is the planting regime? What is the fascia? What's the buildings? You know, it's the detail. So that's what's going through now. Now, it is possible, and I'm not saying we shouldn't complain, it is possible that Wokingham Borough Council makes an arbitrary decision that if it's a reserved matters, planning permission has already been given, so you don't need to ask adjacent parish or town councils. I'm guessing that's the sort of way the officers tend to speak, but we still should complain. I hope that clears it up.
Yeah, but we are very much, it's right on our border in Duffield Road. So it should come before us still, and we should have the opportunity to complain.
Can I make a suggestion that we add an agenda item to the next meeting to cover that?
Yes.
So by which
It's
time we
only
may
a
have a bit
reserved
more
matters
information.
application though, Keith, you're saying?
Yes, it's only a reserved
Yeah.
matters,
So
which is the detail. If you look at the
yeah,
application about what the drainage is going to be, what the landscaping is going to be.
yeah. So what would we complain about that? Yeah, they already have permission to build the
But we don't like the proposals. They might have a landscaping, I'm being ridiculous here, but they might have a landscaping scheme that says, I'm just going to put one tree down, you know,
Okay.
and we could say, hang on a minute, it needs 10 trees or whatever. That's at that
Okay,
sort of
yeah.
level. It
So
is
I
a
will
different
still write
thing.
about that. Yeah. Okay.
So I just think if we put it on, then we won't forget it, will we? I'm sure we won't anyway. But okay. So can I close the meeting now? Yes. Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank
Good
you.
night, all.
Cheerio.
Good luck.
Good night.
Good night.
Go and have your virtual drink at the virtual pub now.